week. But getting a Deontay Johnson, you can slot him in as that third wide receiver. And you're not necessarily taking away snaps from Rashad Bateman. You're not taking away snaps from Zay Flowers. There's no, like, competition. And now you have, I think, a top three of Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and Deontay Johnson. That's decently solid. You know,
Hello,
it's not Devontae Adams. It's not Amari Cooper.
This is Grant Hughes of Grant
not,
Hughes Investigates on
depending
YouTube.
On how you
this
think about
channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussion. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
No idea. I actually didn't have my audio on, so it was sitting there playing in the background. Crazy. Shit. This is nuts, you guys. Absolutely insane information. And this is where you want to be to have that information. But hold on a second, I gotta get this yeah, I don't know how there's just so many windows that are just sort of open here. Yeah, so anyways, Brad Weber, remember all these years, I don't know if you guys have been following, but I'm sure Truth Sleuth remembers. Remember early on when we first started covering the case and I figured out the flow of the crime, etc.? Well, check it out. I always said this, that the killer took the girls down the hill and he was going to do something to them in this corner right here. Do you remember that, Truth Sleuth? Right there? I always said that this place right back here, back in the corner, I called it. I always thought this was the spot. However, the new information that we heard was that he forced the girls down the hill, then he saw a white van, and then he goes across a creek, and then the phone stops moving at 2:32. Okay? The phone stops moving at 2:32. So I thought, oh, well, how does that work? Because we thought, you know, Brad Weber apparently got off of work at 3 o'clock, and he gets home at like 3:20, so how does that work for that? But guess what, everybody? Brad Weber got off at 2:02, and he got home, and then this is so freaking amazing for me, because I know this information. Despite what the trolls tell you guys out there, they are full of shit, okay? He left work at 2:02, and he got right around in this area, 2:25, 2:30. That spooked Richard Allen here. Then he took the girls across the creek, and that's why her phone stopped moving at 2:32. Now on this side, he continued to do whatever the hell he was doing, because on that side of the creek is where they were found nude, and apparently they died around 2:32. I mean 3:30, and then he exits, and at 3:57 is walking down the street muddy and bloody. So I don't believe his story about he panicked at that point. I think he's saying that to lessen what he, try to make it less what he did, but he saw a van when he was right here, because it was right here. Look at this. The van drove by right here, and he's right there. That's my opinion. That's what I always thought at the beginning. But over the years, I was like, okay, well, maybe they just came down and they had him across. But if you go look at my early videos after the flow of the crime, you'll see that I have an arrow pointing right here, and I discussed that area. Now, for many, many years, that was part of my theory until Richard Allen was actually arrested. It was always there. I always say, yeah, I always thought back in here he was going to do something, and it's right next to that shallow area, so maybe the girls tried to escape, right? But it turns out he's down here, and perhaps he always was going to leave that way. But once he got scared, he goes, oh, I'm not done yet. He still had his urges. He's got alcohol in his system. Remember, because today we found out he drank 3 beers, and then he drank all 6 of them. And then he takes them across here, and, now he doesn't hear anything. So he continues to do what he was doing. I mean, this is insane, you guys. I feel so like vindicated in terms of information. And it was weird because I believed, you know, and I guess even, you know, it seemed like he got off work at like 3 o'clock and he got home at 3:20. So I was like, okay, maybe that's why he left the crime scene and, you know, quickly ended there. But now it makes more sense. And this is the information that only the killer knows. They brought Brad Weber up on the stand and he said, yes, I got home around 2:30. And look at this. Oh, man, I'm getting chills, you guys. Oh, shit. I'm literally, you know, I don't normally get the chill factor, but I'm getting it right here. So just look at, like, this one right here. Let's just go all the way to the end. There goes Richard Allen. He's in blue. Abby and Libby come, and he forces him down. And look at this right there. I even have it on my map because I always have him going right over there. Right in that corner there. He's right there. And he's going to do something. And then right below that on the white line, the van drives by. So then he goes, oh, shit. Takes him over there. Boom. Isn't that weird? It still fits on this thing right here. Unbelievable. God. Yeah, so, I mean, I just feel, you know, it's weird in a way. Because it feels like, you know, I have intuition when I cover cases. And it's strange when sometimes, you know, things work out where, like, the thing that you were thinking just looking at the maps, because everyone makes fun of the maps that I do. Oh, that gray guy with the maps and the pins, and what a dipshit. Well, you know what? Mapping is huge in cases, especially when there's a geographical component to it, and it allows you to kind of conceptualize and think through things. So I'm just saying, I've mentioned that corner. How many years have I mentioned that corner? I call it the corner. It's insane. Right back, right down here in this spot. And you see it. I've even shown it on, even recently, just like in the last week or so, when I show you guys, for example, you know, there's crime scene photos from, and by the way, don't be shy, everybody. This is super chat moment time right now, isn't it? God, man, this is like, this is when it should be. This is incredible. Oh my God, I cannot believe it. And thanks to Susan Hendricks for quickly saying, hey, Gray. It was at 2:02. She sent it over there. And by the way, Susan, you know, never mind. I'll say it. But Greeno's tried to insinuate himself again. You know how he does it. Let's see. We've got the, when you get to Liberty German here, I think it might be under videos. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, right. This one. I think it's this one. I think. Let's see. Yeah, this video right here is what I originally used on February like 19th or 18th or something of 2017. Wow, thanks Mrs. Ryan and Cheryl. This is the video that I used to figure out the crime scene location. All right, so for those who are just watching, I know dipshits like me, we can't figure anything out. But if you watch this, this is what I did. See that bent tree right there? You see that? And this is a lady at the crime scene, and I realized the significance of it because she actually is filming the yellow tape. So when she's looking over here, and there is this bent tree, I was looking at Google Earth at the time, and it was actually, we were using this February 2012, and you can see that tree right here. See how it bends over the water? And then I realized at that point that, okay, look, there's a shallow area here, and here's the crime scene. But then later on, they gave an April 2017, which is just 2 months after the murder, so we're using that one. And there's that tree right there, and the crime scene. So basically what you're looking at is right like that, right? Now go back to that video, and you'll see in it. See back up there? That is the private drive right there. And that would just freaked him out. Now right back here is that corner that I'm talking to you about. You can't see anything over here. These trees are thick and they go all the way around. Even that time of year, there's so many of them. So this is that little corner that I always talked about. Right back there. And see, we'll just play this. This is an original video from back on, I recorded it on February 20th, 2017. However, I think it was filmed on like, you know, the 16th, 15th, 16th, 17th, something like that. So, I mean, you can probably tell that I'm pretty pumped up. It's just crazy. Cannot believe it. And here you can see both sides of the yellow tape. See that? So this is stuff we had from the very beginning, and wow, I just cannot believe it. He said today that, you know, he was visiting his mom. They wanted to go to lunch. He decided to do something else, so he went to, you know, he left and he went and got a 6-pack. Well, that takes some time. And then he starts drinking. He drank 3 of the beers. Well, that takes some time. And then he gets his warm clothing, and then he drinks the rest of the beer, apparently. And then he goes to the bridge. And then when he was there, he saw girls, Abby and Libby, and he started following them. And then he said he did something with his gun, and then he, you know, had the girls go down the hill, and he was going to assault them. Then a white van drove by, and that scared him. And so he then took the girls across the creek. Well, where do you think he was when he was going to assault them down here? I think it was right there. And that's where I've always said it. It doesn't make sense to be right in here where people are coming over could just look down, but way back here in that dark corner. And then he, after he was going to kill them regardless, back in this corner here. But then he was going to walk across the stream, in my opinion, and just exit out through the cemetery and walk down, and, you know, just nobody would be the wiser. But, you know, things went awry, you know, at the crime scene. Libby probably tried to, you know, there's no defensive wounds, but he probably did something. She did something, and it took longer, and things got messy, and it just didn't work out for him. And thank God for Libby's video. I mean, Libby's video is so incredibly crucial in this case, it's almost unbelievable. Without that video, this would be a tough one. They still would have found Richard Allen. They still would have found him. And, you know, but the video is sort of what triggered Richard Allen to contact law enforcement on the 16th after the image came out on the 15th. So that wouldn't have been there. He would have felt he wouldn't have been compelled at all, because there wouldn't even have been anybody saying they saw anybody. Just 3 witnesses that saw somebody that sort of varying difference, one in all black, etc. They wouldn't be able to say, those 3 witnesses, that every one of them said, oh yeah, the guy in Libby's video is exactly the guy I saw. So Libby's video is literally the, you know, it's absolutely crucial for this case. I mean, he wouldn't have said anything. They'd have nothing on him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just think about it. But the video ties everything in. And the timing, he still would have said he got there at 3:30 and he left 1:30 and he left at 3:30. So he still would have said that, but how would you make sure that you link him? You know, I don't know if he would have said what he wore. I think he originally was trying to get ahead of the case at that point. Thank you, Wonder Woman and Sunshine Susie. And thank you for the super chats. You know, I'm always trying to raise the funds on the channel. Tomorrow is our big donation night if you guys want to show up. I think this month we'll be able to give over $4,000 away, which is pretty cool. The case would be, yeah, I mean, I actually think that they might have been able to try to make a case, because there would have been still the bullet, and Richard Allen's gun may have still matched the bullet. But that would be such little information. The video itself is insane. Okay, it shows you exactly what he was wearing. It matches what he said he was wearing, and his confessions now are exactly what you think is going on. He said he did something with his gun. He thought maybe that's where the bullet came out, because he didn't know. He knew that they found a bullet at the crime scene. He just didn't know where it was found. So he doesn't know that when he racked it on the bridge, is that when it came out. But he racked it again at the crime scene, and that's where it came out. So maybe he didn't have one in the chamber, but it also could be that when he was on the bridge, he racked a bullet and it went off into the water, not in the water, but fell through the cracks onto the ground below the bridge, and they never tested under that bridge. You know, I think they should go under there tomorrow with a metal detector and see if a .40 caliber full bullet is sitting underneath that bridge, because that wouldn't really be a place that you would check. You know, it wouldn't be something, it wouldn't make sense logically except now it does because it's potential that he ejected one there. They've had that interview for a while, but it's not necessarily something that you would immediately just think to go do once he said that. You would just think, oh, well, he didn't have one in the chamber, and then he, racked it at the crime scene, and that's when it after he put one in the chamber on the bridge, then he, expelled it again by racking it again, and it came out at the crime scene. However, if he already had one in the chamber and did that at the bridge, it would have came out. Another one would be in the chamber, and that bullet would be ejected and fallen through the cracks. Let's see. Hey, thank you so much. I mean, I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but have you guys seen the new video that Court TV put out that I was on 2 days ago? The comments in there are so... You guys should go in there. I hope you guys go in there and defend the work that we're doing over here, because there's literally, I would say, 200 hate-filled comments towards me, and it's all totally bullshit. I'm over there responding and stuff, and I'm like, why am I responding? But I'm just saying, man, it's insane. This channel, I feel proud of this channel. We've covered tons and tons of cases with the same integrity and working through it exactly the same. This is just another one of those. The Idaho 4 case is exactly the same type of thing. This one I have more passion for because I've been doing it since the beginning. But today is a really, really, really rough day, and I think it's just going to keep getting worse. They're going to start hearing the audio recordings of his confessions. Then they're going to go over the Google searches, and it's just... You guys, Richard Allen is Bridge Guy. Hey, thanks, Plato. Not Play-Doh, but Plato, as in Socrates. Thanks, Josh Shepard. Thanks for all the... Yeah, I think I said that, but... Anyways, wow. So, if you're just getting here late, look how crazy that is, you guys. So... I think I even sort of mentioned on the show, like, oh, wow, the white van timing doesn't quite work with the story. You know, something like that. You could probably sense that I was a little bit like, I'm not sure if that works, but now it does, man. In court, he gets off work at 2:02, and he gets home at around 2:30-ish. You know, who knows if it's 2:25 or whatever. And then he gets creeped out by the van, and he said he was going to assault them down here. And the only place down here that makes sense is right there. Look at that place. It always looks dark, you know. The original map, it was this one. Look at that spot. Just a creepy corner down in there, right? And see how this is a February image? And even though, see how sparse the tree, this is why I was thinking of that spot. You see how sparse it is over here? Like the trees and everything, but not here. It's absolutely packed in with trees, and there's more here, and it's dark and gloomy, and it's right back in there. And I always thought that was the spot that he originally intended. I even worded it like that. I go, this is where I think he intended to do something, but one of the girls tried to escape, and he chased them across, but that isn't why they crossed. Now it turns out that a van drove by, and that spooked him, and then he crossed the creek, and then he continued to do what he was doing, but he came up with the excuse that he panicked over the van because it sounds less bad, right? It's a self-serving comment. The reality is he was like, ooh, that's too close to the road. I'm going to bring him over there, and he continued to do what he was doing over there, where he got them undressed, or he had them undressed, and then he had her dress again later after he did whatever he was going to do. And he might have just been like, ooh, I don't know if I want to get completely undressed now because there's people moving around. Man, this is awesome. I mean, just, horrible situation, but it's awesome to have this kind of facts. And guess what, everybody? There isn't a soul out there other than the defense team that has known that white van drove by there. Okay, Richard Allen, and they didn't know that until after his confessions. Okay? It's crazy. It's amazing. Richard Allen was not aware of the 202 van that he saw. And how crazy is that anyways? I mean, see, here's the thing is, when you're arrested for a crime, you don't start false confessing after you're arrested. It's usually a false confession that leads to an arrest And then after they look at the evidence, they go, well, you couldn't have done it. This isn't what happened. And then they go, okay, this is just a false confession. That's not what's happening here. This guy was arrested because of the evidence, and then he starts confessing. You see how there's a difference? People want to say, oh, it was the prison, everybody. It was so mean in there. You know, now the defense is going to come up with stuff. Hey, Karen! Yeah, the bullet is a fact. Yeah. So, are there people in here that still think Richard Allen's innocent? Like, really? Like, is that a thought that you're having? I sure am, Gray. He's innocent till proven guilty, you bastard. God damn. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me now. A van is driving on that road and he saw it and it was verified as driving by? He's the only one that would know that. Especially at that time frame. That's amazing. Because the information that I had, and this is after the confessions, was that it was at like 3 o'clock is when he got off work. And maybe he drove by at 3:30. Well, that wasn't even right. So it wasn't jiving in my head, really. It made sense that a van drove by, and then after doing everything, he kills them, and he leaves at that time. But his story, see, this is what's so amazing to me because I know this case. Watch this. The 3:30 time worked really well. He was at the crime scene doing his thing, right? He was doing his thing. And all of a sudden a van drives by, and it's really close. You can see it from up there, and he goes, holy shit. He panics, kills him, and he leaves. It works, right? It works. It's the right time and everything. Except the crazy part is his confession it doesn't work with that. He says he goes down the hill, he was going to assault them, and then a van drove by, and he panicked, and he took him across the creek. And I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't work with the van, because they're down the hill at like 2:15, 2:20, they're down here, walking around, probably hear it by 2:22-ish. And now it turns out the van drove by right around that time frame. And that's why he took them across the creek. You see how that is huge? Because now it's like this thing that nobody even knew. None of the YouTubers or anybody talking about it had the timing of that. And guess what? Brad Weber's vehicle. Now, here's what the defense is going to do. I know, it's actually better than before, isn't it, Fig Sauls? And Fig Sauls is the guy that told me all about this. I said it on the previous live. Yeah, he's the one that got like a tip on that information. He had the 3 o'clock to 3:30 time frame by a good source, and it turns out it was actually 2:02. But here's what the defense is going to do. You remember their theory, right? There's a car driving on the private drive we think the girls got into. Oh, and by the way, Brad Weber's bullet wasn't excluded from matching the ejection marks. Remember that part? So now they're going to start, casting doubt. Could it have been? Well, he got off work at 2:02, right? He cannot be bridge guy, okay? So he's excluded, but the defense is going to try to muck it up and try to use him, okay? But he's absolutely excluded factually from this because bridge guy is seen at 2:13, and there's no chance in hell he could be back home at that time. Yeah, no, it's all, I mean, I just started talking to Fig Sauls maybe like, I don't know, year and a half ago. And, he's just it's been amazing. It's cool having like a colleague type, somebody that you could consider that, and you're just really working through the information and putting out the factual stuff and seeing things for what they are. And that is what is, it's cool. There's so many, there's, I get called a bad actor by a bunch of trolls out there, but I'm not that person. I'm not. They do that because they're trying to hide their own shame for themselves. And this channel, over the years, has put together information that has been accurate and really, really close to what's happening. And I'm absolutely proud of it. I'm proud of all the work that we do on the side as well, and we'll continue to do for as long as people want to support and watch my videos because we kick some ass. It'd be cool if I did this for another 20 years and we give away $1 million. Who the hell knows? Maybe it'd be quicker to reach there because we'd be doing so well here that it'd be easy. Don't know. I don't know, man. It's amazing. Yeah, well, the van stuff is, like I said before, Fig Solves told me about it, I don't know, a few months back. Seemed like it was early summer time-ish. Maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago or something. And it's just something I mentioned, like, on a passing, like, hey, maybe there's a car that drove by, you guys. Maybe a van of some... Giving little hints here and there. And I don't even know how many people are watching right now. It's just let's see, we gotta go live, hit the button, and see, I'm one of the few channels that would actually understand the significance of what we're looking at. Right? There's a lot of new people. They're doing a great job covering it, but they don't have the context behind the scenes. They don't know what's going on, all the stuff. And this is one of those moments. It's amazing. Grady, you remember when we found out about the sticks? I'm trying to compare to, he confessed. Yeah, I mean, maybe the sticks, you're thinking, the sticks were in the Odin document. He would have known about the sticks for the entire time that he had a lawyer, but it sounds like the confessions, even when he said he covered them with sticks, was before any of that. Well, he did have a lawyer, though. He had a lawyer at that time. Yeah, so, I mean, I would say the van is something that only he would know. Now, maybe the defense will try to come up with something that mitigates that. I do not know. Well, hey, we told him about that, so he just threw it into the story. I don't know. What do you think about that, Fig Solves? Because even in his confession, he says he covered them with sticks. Is that something, too, that might be like, wow, so he even knew about this? I mean, the public didn't really know about the sticks until the Odin document came out. We heard about, leaves and things like that. But now it sounds like that. He said it more specifically like sticks and branches, that kind of thing. I don't know exactly when. I think the public heard about branches being laid on there in the Odin document, which was last year in September. Brad Weber and Rick Allen played pool at the same pool hall. I wonder if that's how Rick knew Kay was out of town. Oh, interesting. I don't know. Yeah, and is that their property, by the way? Is that Kay Weber's property in that corner? Because across the river is obviously Ron Logan's property. I know, I just said that, Karen. Yeah, I just said that. Right. So is that Kay Weber's property? Because I know a lot of landowners, they own land and it goes down into these areas. They just don't own the bridge itself or where the railroad tracks used to be right there. These railroad tracks, old ones, they used to go all the way out like this and literally runs into... I actually, at one point, was wondering if this is how the killer escaped. Me and some friends were wondering. Because look at this. Richard Allen lives right there, right? You walk down this road, and then look at it. I mean, it's so close. You just walk down this road, and you walk through the woods right here. You go all the way down through the woods, and then boom, you're right at the end of the bridge here. Isn't that weird? Yeah, well, they didn't know that he was covered with... They didn't know that there was branches laid out in a diagram, Jay Lee, years ago. That's not true. People didn't know that. They thought maybe covered with leaves and little things like that. Nobody knew that. Is that the private drive leads to Kay Weber's property. But does she have the property below down here, too? Okay, they own that one. So the corner... would have been their property also, down here, perhaps, right? I know that my friend Beth had the map of the area there. All right, so now let's do it again. Let's do my. We'll do this again. Watch this. So people showing up again. 1243. The girls are right there. They effectively they are proof that Richard Allen's second story of being there at 12 and leaving at 1:30 is bogus. They were there the whole time. Didn't see him until they were right here at 126. Richard Allen drives by in his black Ford Focus, parks at the abandoned CPS building. Then those girls then see the man that is in Libby's video, and that's Richard Allen. He admits to seeing them, and they saw him. He said he saw 3 girls, so he saw 3 of the 4 that were walking. And then Richard Allen continues on. Those girls then walk this direction. Then Betsy Blair goes underneath there and sees them at like 1:45. And that proves that the girl, I think Rayleigh, who said, oh, I think I left at 2:15, she just got it wrong, because she sees them as she's driving underneath there at 1:45. Then she drives around and parks here at the, she drives by the Hoosier Harvest Store and then parks right here across from the Mears property, and there's Betsy Blair. 2 minutes after her, Abby and Libby get dropped off, and there they are. But Betsy Blair comes down here, turns around at the barriers, which is 111 feet, not 50, as said at trial. Then she turns around. Oh, wait, I got to get this. Hold on. All right. There you go. Sorry about that. I was related to everything, but... All right, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do it again. 12:43. Boom. The girls go to the bench at 1:26. Then they head this direction, and Richard Allen's vehicle, just after 1:26, drives by the Hoosier Hardware Store at 1:27, parks at the abandoned CPS building. Richard Allen gets out of the car, and he passes them. They see him, and he sees them. Then the girls, after they cross this direction, Betsy Blair sees them up above, all four of them. Then then Betsy Blair drives over across from the Mears property, parks her car. Then Betsy Blair gets out. Then Kelsey drives by, and Libby and Abby get out of the vehicle at 1:49. She passes the Hoosier Hardware Store. And they start walking down the trail. They're walking slower because they're just taking pictures, having fun, where Betsy Blair is exercising. She turns around at the barricade, which is 111 feet, not 50. So obviously her vision from 37 yards isn't going to be very clear, and her memory isn't that great. However, all of these victims, when shown the picture of the bridge guy, who is wearing exactly the same clothing that Richard Allen said he was wearing, they all said that the bridge guy is the person that they saw. So then Betsy Blair turns around and passes Abby and Libby. Then Abby and Libby are right here, and I think it's very possible that he was going to follow Betsy Blair, but then he turned around when he saw Abby and Libby, and then he followed them across the bridge. And then right down here in this corner, right here, he even mentions he cocked the gun up there. Right in this corner, he was going to assault them, in my opinion. Then a van drove by right here at like 2:30. Now, right around 2:30. Then he goes, oh shit. And then he has him get up and takes him across the creek. And this is where all the rest of the things happen. All right? Doesn't that make sense, everybody? It's crazy. It makes sense. So there you go. Hey, thanks, Laura Trini. What do you guys think? I mean, obviously the defense is going to do what they're going to do and try to mitigate things and do this and that and cast out on this and cast out on that. But how do you explain him knowing that a white van drove by there? Maybe they'll say, well, it was in the documents. They had that, when they interviewed him, he said he drove by. So Richard Allen saw that and he just sort of inserted it into his story. Yeah, that's why the false confessions after the fact just they don't make sense, man. They don't make sense. Who in the hell would do that? Hey, let me look up the evidence. Let me look it up. Okay, now look at, yeah, I did it, man. Here's all these things. People do false confessions that lead to their arrest, and then eventually the investigators realize it's false because nothing matches. You don't falsely confess after you've been arrested and you're in jail for a while. Nobody does that. It's really rare. You know it is. Name me another case where after the fact somebody confessed after they've already been arrested for something. And it's really not common at all. So, well, that's all I was going to tell you guys on the update. I think it's huge news. It's really strange how this is all... like when I heard this earlier and I thought, okay, there's going to be this van, wasn't making sense for the new confession that he made. He says he saw a white van, but I was thinking, well, the timing doesn't work because he got home at 3:30. But guess what? He got home at 2:30. He drove by there. So that is just bombshell information, and it means a lot to people who actually know what they're looking at. Right? And everybody that's been watching this channel, the freaks, they know what we're looking at. And we call ourselves the freaks. So I'm not derogatorily calling them that. In fact, my license plate even says that. Okay? Yeah, she's there. Yeah. Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate it. So definitely be coming back on later. Make sure to check out, I think she's the best one out there. Lauren on Hidden True Crime. We don't even have a deal set up or anything. Not her. A lot of people don't even like me that are over there. But I am doing this for the freaks. She's covering. I couldn't take notes like she is. She's doing notes where it's the second best thing to having transcripts. I mean, you know, she literally goes through the whole damn thing, and it's like you're there, okay? So, you know, got to call a spade, that kind of thing. So hopefully, you know, after that, I'm going to come over here, and after hearing everything in there, we'll put it all together. Over here, I know this stuff. I really do. So thank you all for being here. I want to say thank you to Mrs. Ryan, Cheryl, Sunshine Susie, Wonder Woman 77, Get Us Out From Under, Kay Left, new member. Then we've got Josh Shepard, Play-Doh, not Play-Doh, Bonjour Nancy, The Pam Pepper, Karen, Cormac, Connigan, and then Bridget Bauman gifted a membership. Then Amanda Sue Day got a new membership. Then All Things, Nicole, and Michelle Cox. Welcome. Man, this is just so amazing. This stuff, you guys. How are you feeling right now? Anybody? I mean, I just feel like, okay, now the shit's hitting the fan for Richard Allen, okay? It's, poor Ricky, boy, that little schnookums, he's being yelled at while he's sitting there. Well, that's because he's the killer the whole damn time, you guys. He admitted it. He cannot be anybody other than the bridge guy. It's factually him. He has no out. Yeah. This is crazy. Anyways, we'll see you guys later. Hey, slow down, Bridget Bauman. Slow down, man. Slow down. Slow down. Anyways, we'll see you guys later. Oh, and by the way, I did listen to Copacabana on the break just to see, and it's just as bad after all these years. It is the worst song in the history of mankind. Thank you very much for watching, and as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Coco. Jesus. Copa. I mean, Jesus, it's just the worst damn song I've ever seen. Oh, I'm still on? Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. Yeah, Mandy's a good song, Lisa. I'll give you that. I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Greg is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector. Oh, come on, Plato. You can't be serious. I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool the
yeah, what the hell is she talking about? What the hell is she talking about?
With a vector. I don't know, Mary Lou. With all respect, y'all. Just remember, I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda. I'm no pretender. And I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you.
Hey, Greg. I always liked Barry Manilow.
Then how come you stuttered when you said his name?
I mean, I always liked Barry Manilow.
Is it Manilow or Manilow?
I don't know, Gray. That's a good question. Good night, everybody.
Oh my God, Mary Lou. Yeah, what is it? Is it Manlow or Manilow? You know, does it have that extra? All right, we'll see you guys later. Be safe out there.